play. Good food and open spaces, we living like kings. Friendly faces, affordable land, and success in our hands. Welcome to the Sipp, where the South say.
26 points, 14 rebounds per game, 106 wins and only 6 losses, 2,981 career points, 1,662 rebounds. Silver medalist in the 1976 Summer Olympic Games, 3-time national champion, the only woman ever officially drafted by the NBA, the first woman inducted into the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. This is the story of a true Mississippi black treasure. All hail to the queen, Miss Lusia May Harris, the queen of basketball. Lusia Harris is considered to be one of the pioneers of women's basketball. She led Delta State University in Cleveland, Mississippi to 3 straight national titles and won a silver medal with the U.S. women's basketball team in the 1976 Summer Olympic Games in Quebec, Canada. Harris was the only woman ever officially drafted by the National Basketball Association. She is the first black woman inducted to the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame, as well as the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame. She was truly a trailblazer. Lusia Harris was born in Mentor City, Mississippi, a small town located in the Delta region of Mississippi, on February 10, 1955, to Ethel and Willie Harris. The family were sharecroppers, hard work with very few rewards. The largest employer in the Mississippi Deltas at the turn of the 20th century was agriculture, and cotton was key. To make money, landowners would often hire families to farm their land. This type of work is called tenant farming. Tenant farmers would work the land with their own tools and animals, and after the harvest, the farmers and the landowners would share in the profit. Sharecropping is another type of tenant farming. They usually own very little, if any, farming resources. So after the harvest, they paid their debt to the landowners with the crops.
They was messing over the paper anyway. Guy go in, he got to go to the man's store and get his groceries and whatever, and he might tell the farmer, well, you broke even this year. You know, don't get no big bonus or nothing like that, you know.
And breaking even was all a lie.
It was a lie.
He picked way above even.
Yeah, you know, it's just they told the sharecroppers anything, you know.
Most never got out of debt and basically stayed on farming for generations. Lucia and her 10 siblings would pick cotton after school. They were poor, but as Lucia puts it, we went without, but we didn't want for anything. Between poverty and racism, the Mississippi Deltas could be a deadly place for a black man, especially a black man exercising his God-given rights living in the Deep South. Such was the case in Mentor in 1933, 22 years before the birth of Lusia Harris. Richard Roscoe, a black tenant farmer, had been in a physical altercation with a white plantation manager. Both men had sustained injuries. An hour later, Roscoe was abducted, shot dead, and then dragged through the city streets of Mentor, tied to the back of the sheriff's car. This form of domestic terrorism was not uncommon throughout the South. At 6 feet 3 inches, Lucia was bullied by other kids. They would taunt her by saying that she was long and tall, and that's about all. But nothing could be farther from the truth. The Harrises had a basketball goal in their yard. The neighborhood kids would often gather there to play. Lucia loved the game of basketball. She would often stay up late night watching NBA games on the family's television, dreaming of one day being able to play like the pros. Her mother would often catch her and force her to turn off the television and go to bed. Oscar Robertson was her favorite player, and years later, the Big O would escort Lucia to her introductory ceremony and to the Naismith Hall of Fame in 1992. Lucia attended Amanda Elsie High School in Greenwood, Mississippi. With no prior basketball experience, she tried out for the girls' basketball team and made the squad. She worked very hard at developing her game: defense, offense, pivoting, rebounding. She developed a killer shot. Her confidence began to grow, and so did her game. Lucia recalls the high school game that changed her forever. Quote, I scored 40 points. Their whole team had not scored 40 points. My whole attitude about my height changed. It became an asset. While at Amanda Elsie, Harris won the Most Valuable Player Award 3 consecutive years, 1971 to 1973, served as team captain and made the state all-star team. She set a school record 46 points in one game and led her school to the state tournament in Jackson, Mississippi. After high school, Lucia wanted to attend Alcorn State University. Alcorn is located 166 miles west of Mentor City, but but the university did not have a women's basketball team. So Lucia settled for Delta State University, located in Cleveland, Mississippi. Lucia was the only black player on the team. She said her and the other girls really didn't interact outside of basketball, but it didn't seem to bother her much because her game was fire. During her freshman year there, she helped the Delta State women's basketball team to a 16-2 record. The following year, Harris led Delta State in a 90-81 victory over Immaculata University in Immaculata, Pennsylvania, to win the national championship in women's basketball NCAA Division III. Harris led the team to a 32 points, 16 rebounds in the 1975-76 season. Delta State and Immaculata met again in the national tournament finals, and Harris led Delta State with 30 points and 18 rebounds in a 69-64 victory over Immaculata. Delta State returned to the national tournament finals in 1977, where she scored 23 points and 16 rebounds and led her team to a victory over Louisiana State University, 68-55, for the third consecutive title. Harris finished her college career with 2,981 points, 1,662 rebounds, and averaging 25.9 points and 14.5 rebounds per game. Harris was also named as the tournament's most valuable player and to the All-American first team during Delta State's 3 consecutive winning seasons. Harris graduated from Delta State University with a bachelor's degree in health, physical education, and recreation in 1977. She also played on the United States women's basketball team, where her team won gold in the 1975 Pan American Games and a silver in the 1976 Summer Olympic Games in Quebec, Canada. Lucia married George E. Stewart February 4th, 1977. That same year, Harris was chosen in the 7th round of the 1977 NBA draft by the New Orleans Jazz, now known as the Utah Jazz, becoming the only woman ever officially drafted by the NBA, but she declined the offer. She believed it to be a publicity stunt. Lucia did not believe that a woman could compete with a man, and the fact that she was pregnant with her first child may have also played a small part. She was asked years later, did she regret her decision? And with a smile on her face, she replied, absolutely not. Lusia Harris was ahead of her time, no mistake about it. The world of basketball was not ready for such a dominant force in women's sports. I can't help but to think, how did Lucia feel about the inequality in sports as it pertains to opportunities for women in basketball? Thanks to Ben Proudfoot and the executive producers, Steph Curry and Shaquille O'Neal, the world is now getting to know the queen of basketball, Miss Lusia Lucy Harris Stewart. The Queen of Basketball is a short documentary highlighting the life and basketball career of Lucia Lucy May Harris Stewart on March 27, 2022 at the Dolby Theater in Hollywood, Los Angeles, California. The Queen of Basketball won the Oscar for Best Documentary Short. In attendance were Lucia Harris' 4 children, sons Eddie and Chris, and twin daughters Crystal and Christina. Unfortunately, the Queen herself, Miss Lucia Lucy May Harris Stewart, did not get to see this beautiful award presented for this documentary of her life. She passed away on January 18, 2022 at the age of 66 in a physical rehab center in the small town of Mount Bayou, Mississippi.